Good morning, Chavirim. Likoutey Moharan Zayin, Tinyana. We are in Ot Yud. We're on the second column. We're on the second paragraph. The Tzaddik Emes is giving Yira to a person. He's giving Yira by telling him Lo Kol Haaretz, and he's telling him also Machamita. He tells a person he's far, he tells a person he's close. He keeps you in check. If you have such a Rebbe and you're attached to such a Rebbe, in the Zman of eating, Rabbeinu said, when you're eating your food, you can access a high lofty level which is called Ma Pa'an Ken. And that is going to be a place after 120 years where a person will have access to certain makifim which are higher than the angels. That's coming out in his eating if he's not a shlepper, if he's not a wimp, if he's a gibor chaim, if he's an ish chaim, if he has a kesher to malchut. And how does this work? Because Rabbeinu said, food is coming from Sfirat Malchut. Everything is coming from the Sfirot. Everything, of course, is from Hashem. But to allow it to not overwhelm us, it's coming from different Sfirot. The concept of Parnasah is coming from Sfirat Malchut. Sfirat Malchut is Yira. Because the Pasuk says, the Mishnah says, Malchut ish et ra'eu chaim belau. If it wouldn't be for fear of the kingdom, a regular king, so each person would eat each other alive. If there's no people stopping, if there's no government stopping them, they're going to do whatever they want. If there's not severe punishments, Sadvar Torah, based on Shrem and Dina, they killed the whole Shrem. And by the way, that was the only way to protect themselves in the future. Mefarshim explained that if they wouldn't have killed everybody, it would show their weakness and it would cause them to do it again. When we are not defending ourselves and not giving them on the head really all the way to the end to crush them, we're actually causing them to do it again. That's the Mefarshim say over there. They had to do it in order to protect themselves. That was the only way. So if the government's not going to do anything, people are going to do whatever they want. Hashem should protect us. But you see from here, at least in our context, that Malchut is Yira. So if you have Yira of the Tzaddik, because he's working with you, he's always keeping you in check, and you have Shaykhis to Malchut, because you're taking responsibility, and like we said, seems to be the pshat is that you're a menich when you're eating. Moach, lev, kaved. Bilam, when he wanted to curse Am Yisrael, he said kalem. What is kalem? Kaved, lev, moach. That means that we have to be governed by the mind. You have feelings, you have desires, and then you have the stomach, the gut, the kaved. The moach sholet al hanev. A melech is moach sholet al hanev. A king has to equal nimus. Rabbeinu said in another place that the kings should send their kids to us to see what their cheretz is. You're not going to see a king and a queen eating like a glutton. It doesn't pass. It's not appropriate for them. Malchut, a certain malchut is to control yourself. Bilam wanted to say, no, let them be governed by the stomach. That whatever they want to eat, whatever their heart tells them to do, that's how I feel, I'm going to do it even though if my mind knows it's not good. The opposite. A merich, you have shaykhis to malchut at the time of eating. So in the food, which is malchut, and you also have the yira, so you're going to get this makif elyon, which is called machamita, which is called mapad ked. You're going to get that. Explains Rabbeinu why it works now. So Rabbeinu says, so where were we holding? Kitzarich, last 4 words. Kitzarich sheyelo memshala b'chinat malchut leta ochen. When you are eating, you're going to have some memshala. Ki ad yidei zeh nimshach parnasa kanal. The parnasa, or the light in the parnasa, comes from this malchut. Al ken, shaban choger matnav keneged ishto. When a man is at his wedding and he is now accepting upon himself to take responsibility for the parnasah of his family, of his wife, I will work, iflach, okir, I will honor, ve'ezon, I will give parnasah, I will give food. As nodnim no ksad memshana. Now, how in the world can you have parnasah? How can you take responsibility to give parnasah to your wife? Well, you know what we do. Parnasah comes from malchut. So we give you a malchut over the wife. The pasuk says by Adam Rishon, Hu yimshol bach. The man is the leader in the relationship. It's really amazing what I'm thinking right now. The man is the leader in the relationship. People today want to switch up all the roles. And all the catastrophe is coming from that. A man keep his role and a woman keep her role. Otherwise, the system doesn't work. We're not built to do anything else. But there, you know what it says in Rashi on that pasuk? That when it comes to Tinyana tashmish, even if the woman wants, she's not asking. The man's in charge of it. The man is in charge of the tashmish. When it comes to the relationship with him, if a man is interested in his wife, it's not embarrassing for him to go and make, to start to initiate. A woman to initiate, actually, it's actually written on the chat, it's not good at all. She can initiate by wearing perfume, by wearing a certain clothing, by putting on a jewelry. That's how she can show you that she wants you to initiate. But you have to initiate. And it's written that if a woman, it's called bnei chutzpah. If a woman asks b'pimaleh for the relation, you're not supposed to go with her, and you have to go with her. The kids are not good kids. It's called bnei tisha midot. So here, Yehu yimshol bach is we give the man memshala to bring the parnasah. So the simple pshat is, you have to give parnasah to somebody that's below you. You have to be in charge. Why is a boss in charge? A president in charge? What exactly do you have? Why are you in charge? You know why in charge? You got to give money. So you have to be in charge. You're not going to get somebody giving the money if he's not in charge. The one is giving the money, he has to be in charge. So the man has to bring money, so we put him in charge. It's not that he's in charge so he gives the money. It's we put him in charge so that he's going to give the money. You might think if you have money, you'll be in charge, you'll be able to give. No, we give you the power of the Memshala first. That's what he says. Api, if we can say Remez, what's saying here, is that the inyan of the parnasah, or the kedusha in the parnasah, the herat haratzon in the parnasah and the bread, is the inyan of doing it properly, eating b'kedusha, controlling yourself. Well, the same thing with the woman. When it comes to the woman, it's also called, in Parshat HaShavua last week, it said by Yosef HaTzadik, that Potiphar, the Eshet Potiphar wanted to go with Yosef. He said to her, your husband gave me everything. The only thing that he left for himself is Lechem Asher Ochen. Lechem, says over there, is the Lashon Naki of the wife. So the inyan of the wife is the same inyan as well. The Kedusha that the person can have, B'shat Maaseh, in the Biyah, he can also get a huge level, but he has to control himself as well over there and not become a Behemah. It's a Shmirat Abrit, it's the same Zach. Somebody who wants to learn to control himself in his physical relationship with his wife, he has to control himself when he's eating as well. If he's able to eat b'kedusha, it's a natural extension he'll be able to hold back. You have built gvura, you have built strength. You have strength to withhold, even though the body wants something, the kaved wants something, you are melech. Moach sholet al lev. And for sure, the kaved on the stomach, on the liver. And here says likewise, and parnasah that we're saying is the kedusha in the parnasah. It's not only money. A lot of people have money. But in the parnasah, what's coming down in it? Is it mebalbel you, or is it giving you high lofty levels? We're going to see soon that it's even more than what we're saying. Any prince or any person of authority that you have to give more money to more people, יותר אנשים רבים התלויים בו, הוא צריך שיהיה לו יותר ממשלה. You need to have more authority. The more people that you're going to have to give money to, the more you have to have an authority on them. כדי שיוכל להמשיך הפרנסה על ידי המלכות. Okay, this is what we said till now. והמלכות מקבל הפרנסה מבחינת הידיים שיש בים החוכמה. You know that Rabbeinu at the end of this Torah said, we spoke about all the sfirot here. We're talking about Yeridat HaShefa. Yeridat HaShefa is the way that things come down. And so coming from the highest levels, but really, it's one is passing to another and one is passing to another. So Yama Chochma is actually Bina. Yama Chochma is called Bina. Biyama Chochma. Chochma gives to Bina. Sfirat of Chochma gives to the Sfirat of Bina. And it's giving an infinite amount of chesed. Pi Kabbalah, I saw Rav Atiyaz explaining. So the chesed of Chochmah is going into Bina, and that's why it's called a Yam. A Yam is infinite, it's huge, it's waters, it's kindness, Everything is from water. With no water, there's nothing. So the inyan of chokhmah, the inyan of chokhmah is giving into the inyan of chokhmah is giving into the bina. So there is mikabel parnasa mibchinat hayadayim sheyesh biyam chokhmah. Yadayim is called chesed and gvura. The chesed and gvura is two sfirot of chesed and gvura. If I'm not making a mistake, I'm going to have to check what he said over there. The chesed and gvura are receiving from the bina the parnasa. So the malchut, through the chesed and bina, there is bina. You know the sfirot how it goes, right? There's keter, there's chokhmah and bina. There's dat, there's chesed and gvura. It's lines. So the chesed is connected the chokhmah and the bina is connected the gvura. The chesed and then you have tiferet, netzach hod, yesod, and then malchut. Actually, malchut is going and receiving it from bina, but the chesed and the gvura in the bina, which receive from the chokhmah. That's what he's saying here. But Rabbeinu, of course, is not going to leave us esoteric. Many times you read this in Kabbalah and Kidvari, it's very esoteric, and you just have to know the system, and it's one thing to know the system, even though you know a map. But Rabbeinu is going to bring it uvdan maseh. He's going to translate these things into practical things that you could live in, that you could tap into. So says here Rabbeinu, והמלכות מקבל פרנסה מבחינת הידיים שיש בים החוכמה, דהיינו הרמזים. These ידיים are called רמזים. שם בחינת ידיים, כמו שכתוב, נטיתי ידי ואין מקשיב. The Torah said, Mishnah is talking about the Torah. And the Torah is trying to tell the people come back to him, to do tshuva. But everything is beremez. Natiti yadi ve'en makshiv. I made a motion with my hand and people are not listening. That you see, shepirosh Rashi dahainu harimazim. Ki shachacham megale chokhmato. When the tzaddik is saying his wisdom, nefamim omer eze dibur shemeramez bo remazim netalmidav. He's not actually saying everything. He's saying some things with a hint, with a remez. And that, dahainu, ma she'iv shar nevaer bepiv befirush, what you cannot say specifically in words, rak al-yedei ramazim sheyesh be'adibur hem mivinim kavanato. Through the remez in his words, the Talmidim understand what he's saying. What did Rabbeinu just say? That the Chacham sometimes is giving a shir. Sometimes he's speaking to you. Sometimes he's speaking in Torah, sometimes he's speaking one-on-one. And there's certain things that the tzaddik can't tell you. And he doesn't tell it to you bepeh maleh, outright. He tells it to you in a remez. This is the concept of yadayim. Because sometimes I could give you a remez with the hand even though I'm not saying anything. So that means I could give you information with the hands. You have no idea how much we speak with the hands. We don't learn that language. It's just a self-taught language, and everybody has a little bit of a bit of remez, but there's even things, even on the text that they sent today, there's like this and like this. You start to realize how many remazim we have. I can tell you something in a remez, and you're going to understand very quickly a whole sentence. So the tzaddik does the same things as well. When he wants to tell you something, he might in words say it in a remez. Many things Rav Nosson writes that we got from Rabbeinu were not said outright. All of the highest things that we have were not said befirush. For example, even the Uman Rosh Hashanah that we go on Rosh Hashanah, Rabbeinu didn't say it beforash. He said it only in a remez and an akifin, that you had to understand what he meant. But it was a remez. And only Rav Nosson that could chab the remez was able to give it down. I'll tell you another thing. Where does it say that Tikkun Klali is mitaken even? By Tikkun Klali, it's saying, it says, really what it says meforash is that on the day where a person had an accidental zera, if he says that day, even better after mikvah, it's mitaken. What does it say? All the other things? Doesn't say.
What other things?
Higher things, real averot. Does it mitaken? Tikkun Klali a real averot? Does it mitaken? It's not written anywhere. There are certain things that Anash got from remez from Rabbeinu that he couldn't say them. It's true that all the averot of the past, if you go in the kever of Uman, and you say it in Uman, with the Tikkun Klali, with the Putat Staka, and you take upon yourself not to do again, that's another zak. And then there's Erev Rosh Hashanah, it's another inyan. But the person messed up. Where do we know that's mitaken? So there's certain things, I have to check out the sugi over there, but really certain things were said by Remez, Rabbeinu didn't say them. Bedafkar, he didn't say them. Many things that Rabbi Natan, Rabbeinu didn't say them to Furush what he had to do. Rav Nosson, when Rabbeinu passed away, we spoke before that he went to look for a different Rebbe. What do you mean? Don't you know you're going to be the Mamshich? Only later, when he was starting to go back and start to recall all the things that Rabbeinu told him, he started to realize, no. The Rabbeinu gave him, he set up the whole path for him. He gave him a derech, but everything was said in Remes. The tzaddik has to speak to you sometimes in Remes. And Rabbeinu said, Ve'elu ha-remezim hem b'chinat yadayim. B'chinat natiti yadi. A Remes is called yadayim. Ve'zeh b'chinat yadayim sheyesh b'yama chokhmah. So now you understand. There is yama chokhmah, which is bina. Bina. You know that chokhmah and bina come together. Chokhmah is, bina is, taking chokhmah to the next level. It's breaking it down into small, into small measures and birur of the dvarim. Chokhmah, you want to build a house. Bina, you gotta have all, you just see the final picture. Bina, you gotta have all the plans. Everything has to be in order. Every screw has to have the place where it's going to go. Where you're putting them in compartments and you're separating and you're dividing and you're making it much more miduyak. Bina is much more in depth, whereas chokhmah is the big picture. A person wants to learn. A person is sfirat chokhmah. A person is shach mot chokhmah. He's going to learn a lot of bikiyut. Person bina is going to be more detail oriented. I don't want to learn bikiyut. I want to understand things all the way to the depth. Both are good. They're both important. Chokhmah and bina come together. That is when you got it. Now you see over here that there is yama chokhmah, which is an influx of shefa, of chesed into the bina from the chokhmah, it's a yam. And there, the malchut gets the parnasa from there, from yadayim, sheyesh biyada chokhmah. And yadayim is the chesed and the gvura, it's remazim. So what did we just say? We just said now that this parnasa we're talking about, this light we're talking about, this energy inside the food is only happening through the remazim of the tzaddik. It's the remazim of the tzaddik that is in the yama chokhmah. The papa the chokhmah here goes to the next level. What is this remez? Why won't the tzaddik just tell me what it is? So if you remember before, we said that there's certain things that the tzaddik's not allowed to say. Remember, when I'm teaching you something, I'm getting a new download. When I have my pnimi, and I tell you my pnimi, I got a new makif. If I tell you the makif became pnimi. If I tell it to you again, I get a new makif. If I tell it to you again, and I get a new makif, which is pnimi. There's certain things which I can't say to you, because if I say them to you, I know them. But if I say to you this, what happens is I get a new makif, and the two makif is too dangerous. It may be too dangerous because it's even for the tzaddik on a level that's too high for him in this world, or I'm not allowed to bring something down that I can't give over. So now the tzaddik is in a quandrum. He has a problem. He has this information, but he can't tell it to you. If he would tell it to you, he would give you chizuk. What chizuk would it be? Well, it would be chizuk either to continue going because you have to move forward, or it would be the chizuk of menokodaretz kivodo. Hashem's with you. Man, there are certain chizukim that we're not allowed to say, because if we say we're bringing down a light that's too big, there's the shonot of Rabbeinu that in the Avera is the biggest light. There's certain Lishonot of Rabbeinu that you went far now. Imagine what's beyond that. In the Avera is the highest light if you do tshuva from it. And when you're going to do tshuva, which eventually do tshuva, that it's going to bring you the highest places where people are going to be looking for more Averot. In Torah 22 it says there's going to be a kind of time where people are going to say, where's more Averot that I need more Averot? Mashiach is going to come, I wish I had more Averot. Do you have some more Averot? Why? Because the Averot were mitapech to light. Because they're the lowest level. You understand that type of chizuk? Now the tzaddik has certain chizukim that he could give you that would make you, either if you're doing good, go even further. And if you're going down, don't give up. But certain things he can't say because of the system that he's going to get a makif which is too high. But the tzaddik wants to give you the information. He wants to give you the chizuk. So what he does, the tzaddik, what he does is he gives you a sort of remez in it. He gives you a hint in it. He gives you a hint, a remez of this chokhmah that he has that he can't say. So when we said before that the tzaddik has something that he can't give you, actually he gives it to you in a remez. Look well. That remez is a makif. What did we say is in the food before? We said in the food before is the highest level of makifim. That's a makif that's above the angels. Ma pa'al ken. Ka'et yamer li'Yakov u'Yisrael ma pa'al ken. There's going to be a time where we're going to be higher than the angels. Pirush. The tzaddik has a certain chokhmah. He's already in Shamayim. He's already in that place where he has access to that light of that Retzonot, that Kisufim, which is such a high second, but he can't give it to you. So when the tzaddik is giving you a remez, when he's giving you this, he's giving you that chizuk. He's giving you that chizuk, he's tapping into that place. That's the pshat, seems to be, if you make the kesh of all the things. That in the food is the herat ratzon, it's that makif, it's the same thing. Because the parnasah comes from this place. The parnasah comes from the malchut. The malchut is getting from the yam chokhmah. The yam chokhmah is getting it from the remazim. So the remazim is getting from the yam chokhmah, that high makif is putting it in the food. Pirush, it seems to be over here that we're talking about a guy that's mikushar to the tzaddik. It's one and the same. The remez that the tzaddik is giving you to keep you always in check, to keep you always moving and never to give up, that same light will be also in the light of when you're eating your food. It's one and the same. It's in the remez, and maybe even the shleimut of it is in the food. Maybe you don't even understand it fully. But what's going to come out is when you're eating your bread, when you're eating that lechem, when you're holding back, you're getting access to this hint that the tzaddik wanted to give you, which was en yush ba'olam, and was keep moving. Turns out that it's all mikushah, going backwards and forwards. What Rabbeinu said over here, what said at the beginning, that he can't tell you, is actually telling it to you in remes. And if you eat b'kedusha, you're having access to that. דברים עמוקים שנזכה להבינם ולקיימם.